Now, if you're a land investor, this might be one of the most important videos that you ever watch. Unfortunately, it doesn't have an exciting title and it's not an exciting topic, but I've seen 400 plus people fall into this trap in the last 2 years and end their career in land because of it. And it's what I call the great land investing paradox. Okay. Now let me back up. 2 years ago, we launched Leah. Leah is our 12-month group coaching program to get folks from zero to six-figure land investing business. We not only teach folks how to build a six-figure land producing business that brings in that kind of income, but we also keyword show them how to build a business. We're the only program out there that shows you how to create leverage to create a system that runs without you. Something to where you can work 5 hours a week in your land business if you want. And I averaged about 10 to 15 hours a week in my land business. The year before, while I was growing Leah, I averaged even less than that. And yet it continued to work in the background. But here's what's interesting. Since we launched Leah, you guys can see here, 399 folks that have gone through it. Now, it's gone through many iterations. It was a very, very basic program when we first released it. It was at $2,500 for lifetime access. It's ballooned into something gargantuan. And I promise this is not a promotion for Leah. You're going to see how I'm going to connect the dots here. As it stands today, I mean, Leah's turned into a behemoth, right? It's 300 plus hours of coaching content inside the program, 11 plus coaching calls a month. That's about 30 hours of coaching calls per month, the most active community in the entire land space. You can go check it out for yourself for free, landinvestor.co/discord. It's turned into this behemoth, and we've had hundreds of people that have gone and built crazy land investing businesses. And we're going to talk about that here in a second. When we've got folks that are making $4 million a year in profit in their business, running it full time. And on the flip side, we have folks that, run it nights and weekends, odd hours, whenever they can, that make 300, 400, 500K a year. There's no one in the business with the results like what we have. And because of that, and I don't mean to toot our own horn, it's just the honest truth. Because of that, we've had a lot of people apply. So check this out. This is going to loop into the great land investing paradox. Roughly a little over 1,000 demos or application calls or discovery calls, whatever you want to call them, for folks applying to join Leah. Okay. 399 total folks that joined. Roughly, I will say 200 people that weren't the right fit. Okay. Not the right fit either. We're not the right fit for them. It's just like, hey, I'm looking for something different, right? I'm looking for a subdivide program or whatever. There's just no way we can help them. Or alternatively, they're not the right fit for us, right? They're looking to get rich tomorrow. They're not thinking about this over years or decades. Building a business is not of interest. It's let me go flip a deal so I can, pay off my mortgage or pay rent, or people that are doing it purely as a means to an end and no other reason than that. But it's this last cohort down here is the most interesting. Roughly 400 folks that have said, I'll be back once I get my first deal. In fact, this is the most common thing that we hear. And I've got 3 pretty earth-shattering stats and figures that I'm going to share with you and walk through why that's the biggest trap in the whole entire land investing space. Now, before I explain that, I want to just highlight a few things to kind of give some perspective, okay? These were just shared a few days ago inside of Leah. These are both Leah members here. Now, Kay's a realtor, okay? And I find that there's a certain demographic, and actually let me pan over here. Let's talk about the who. There's a certain demographic that seem to really understand what the process looks like to acquire skills and then produce a business around those skills. Unfortunately, there's a cohort, though, that has no perception of what that actually looks like. I'm going to talk to you today about how you can overcome that hurdle, okay? Let's talk about the who. Who are the kinds of folks that are getting results inside of Leah? Who are the kinds of folks even joining Leah? And ultimately, who are the kinds of folks even beyond Leah that are building really big, profitable land investing businesses? I've studied this stuff, and there's an interesting, cohort of people that seem to do very well in the land business, okay? On average, they're 25 to 55 years old. Of course, there's outliers, but on average, that's kind of the window of folks. High-paying W-2. It's very common. There's a lot of folks that either come from a high-paying W-2 that they're going to transition out of, or they're going to keep the high-paying W-2 and then supplement their income by building a land investing business. Now, the best people in this category have some kind of sales-related experience, okay? They've faced rejection. They've gone through hardship. It's a really important point that I'm going to talk about here. They know what skill acquisition looks like, right? They know what it's like to be bad at something and have to work to become good at something, okay? Could be commercial brokers, could be realtors, could be people selling tech, people in the B2B space, B2C, high ticket coaching, whatever. High paying W-2, usually with some dose of sales experience, either previously or currently. Second, pivoting out of a business into land. I've got this business, either I've just exited it. We've had people that have had had 8-figure exits that have joined Leah to build a land business, or they didn't exit it, it's just a business that's kind of run its course and they're looking for greener pastures. And then the third, which probably makes up about a quarter of the people that we work with inside of Leah, real estate investor that's looking to add land into the mix. Okay, they're doing like sub 2 or BRRRR, or they're doing wholesaling or fix and flip, and they're either looking to add in the land in conjunction to what they're already doing, or pivot out of those niches entirely, get out of the red ocean and move over into land. Okay, so that's the who. I'm going to connect the dots here for you in a second. Now we come over here. Kay Walker, she's in this category. While she doesn't have a W-2 properly, she's a agent. Again, these people that have sales experience do so well. And they understand what it looks like to acquire a skill. So Kay got into land, immediately joined Leah, has been on fire. Now she runs this business part-time in conjunction with her career as an agent. And just recently she got 4 contracts signed in one day, one signed the next day, closed on one dispo, another on the acquisition. She's on fire. And it's like, why is this happening? Well, I'll tell you exactly why this is happening. You can see down here, Kay said, I want to second what you said. The community summoner in the course, hands down the best in the game, and 100% feel the same. What's interesting is I hear this all the time, right? This cohort of people here, again, this is not to toot our own horn. This is to show you the most dangerous mindset pitfall that people are falling into that are ending their careers in land investing faster than anything else. This is not about competition. This isn't about any of that stuff. This is about our own personal development getting in the way of our progress. And again, I'm going to tie this all together with 3 statistics, 3 cohorts, 3 categories that are ruining hopes and dreams faster than anything else that I've seen in this business. This category here of 400 people that give us this, I'll give it back once I get my first deal. And again, this extends beyond Leah. I can only speak on Leah, but this is a phenomenon that is overarching for the whole entire land business. And I know this phenomenon intimately, not just from Leah, but from my own experience, because I fell into the same exact personal development trap. And it led my business being stuck for the first 2 years. It slowed down my rate of growth faster than anything else. I don't even know where I would be at today had I removed my hubris and identified what it actually looks like to get good at something that's inherently difficult. Now, what's interesting about this cohort here, we'll make some beautiful drawings. This cohort here, pretty much all of them say, I love Leah. Leah's the best. I can't wait to join Leah. I'm so excited to be in this community. I've watched every YouTube video. I can't wait for it. So I hear this a lot on the outside, right? And partially this is because in my experience, we are the first and only program to move out of the place of the theoretical and move into the place of application for new land investors. Now, there are communities and programs that focus on application that really just service the highest level, okay? So high level subdivide programs or programs that are very detailed, they're not dealing in theory. It is very pragmatic. Here's how you do it. But they have $20, $30, $40, $50,000 price tags, and they're not here to service the beginner. I noticed a giant gap in the market 2 years ago where every single beginner land program was focused on just teaching the theory, the 30,000-foot view, the theoretical of the mechanics of how the land business works. But the problem was hardly anyone's getting results from theoretical. Not only is it hard to apply theory, also a lot of times the theory hasn't been applied by the one coaching it. Most of these coaches that you look up to in the land investing space do not run land businesses anymore, okay? Leah and the community of coaches is the only one that I know of that services beginner land investors that still runs land businesses at the highest scale. And so there's a real disconnect here. And if you really press and push most of these coaches, you'll find out A, they don't do any deals, or B, they just fund their members' deals, but they're not doing any of their own deals anymore. It's the deep, dark secret of the land investing business. And it's because to be good at land investing at the highest level is difficult. A lot of these folks don't know how to teach anything but theory, and so they don't even know how to land invest themselves at the highest level. And you've got this vicious loop, right? And so what I recognize is that beginners should have access to content and training that is geared around application. And this is why we constantly hear this. And hopefully you even feel this in the YouTube videos that we make. I try to focus on things that are applicable, that are tactical, that are battle tested, that are founded in reality. So I say also say that we hear this a lot, yet this still is a quagmire that gets in the people's way. I'll get back once I get back around. I'll start my land business once I get my first deal. Really what you're telling the world is, I will take this seriously once this business proves itself to me. The irony about the world is you've got to prove it to the world before the world is going to prove it to you, okay? There's a concept that goes be, do, have. Okay. You got to be the thing to do the thing to have the thing. A lot of people have it completely ass backwards. It's have, do, be. Give me the thing, then I'll do the thing, then I will be the thing. That doesn't work. And this is the greatest mindset trap that is killing new land investors. And this probably extends to every single business out there. But I think that it's a systemic issue in the land investing business because people think from these theoretical videos and theoretical training that I could just go and land a $20,000, $50,000, $100,000 deal. The business will prove itself to me, and then I'll prove myself to the business. But maybe that worked 5 years ago, 10 years ago. I promise you, it does not work anymore. Sure, edge cases, you could get incredibly lucky, but I'm not trying to play the luck game. I'm not trying to gamble with my money, okay? Next, Preston. Now, Preston falls into the second cohort, okay? Pivoting out of a business. He exited an e-commerce business, joined Leah less than a year ago. Starting off 2025 with a bang, he's going to hit his first six-figure profit month in January. He's also having his firstborn this month, which is pretty awesome. Accepted an offer for $110,000 on a deal that he bought $45,000. Yeah, pretty insane. Now, what's crazy is Preston joined Leah and struggled. And so here's a guy that's got all the information, access to all the resources, to all the support, and yet still struggled. And I see this time and time again. Land is freaking difficult. Even inside of Leah, our members still get their teeth kicked in. Doing it on your own is a kamikaze mission. You are looking to run the risk of blowing yourself up. And again, this loops back into the three categories that we talk about here. Now, the interesting thing with both these people is they both have sales experience. And sales experience is going to pay dividends, not so much so because you're good on the phones. That really doesn't matter. People that have gone through sales experience understand two things. One, you're only as good as your last coaching session, okay? Sales is a coaching game. It's a game where you constantly have to be sharpening the sword. Very few people are just good at sales and don't need to train, don't need to role play, don't need to have coaches, don't need to have mentors, don't need to sharpen iron sharpens iron. They don't need to work that muscle. Sales teaches you that. Sales also teaches you what it feels like to get your teeth kicked in. And land is very much that. We are arbitraging something that everyone else wants to arbitrage. Inherently, that's going to be difficult, right? I don't know why people don't understand that. If it was as easy as sending out some mail and getting some deals, there'd be no opportunity. So these are both two interesting case in points here. What's fascinating about these people is they understood the most important phenomenon in land, which is that concept of be, do, have. And when we have to be that person, you act like the person that already has the results. That kind of person that has the results, of course, is going to invest in their education. Of course, is going to learn how to run this business at the highest level. That's obvious. They're not thinking that this thing has to prove itself before I sharpen my skill set. It's the same concept as saying, I need to lose 50 pounds. Let me lose 50 pounds, and then I'm going to go get a personal trainer. Or I want to become a lawyer, so I'm going to go win a legal case. Then I'll go to Harvard Law School. Doesn't make sense. And the only reason that people fall into this trap and land is because the bullshit, and I'll use bad language, education in this space that has led people to believe that somehow this is easy. I promise you, this is so incredibly difficult, and I will be the first person to tell you that. Ask anyone that's running this at a high level, this is a hard business. And in fact, that's why so many people in the last 2 years, a lot of the big land investors have had to change their model. They've had to start doing new strategies or finding new ways to get deals because they weren't willing to accelerate with the rate of development. And the bar keeps on getting raised. But there's still an incredible amount of opportunity for those that are willing to play the game at the highest level. I mean, just so far this month, we've acquired over $500,000 worth of land that we'll probably make close to double our money on over the next, 6 months. And in the hopper, we've got an extra $2 million worth of acquisitions that very well could come in this month. But it is a brutal grind for me to have gotten to the place to where that's even possible, okay? So let's talk about what really happens here, okay? I'll get back once I get my first deal. Now, we talked about the be, do, have concept. Really what's happening here, though, more than anything, you're dealing with people, like from the Leah perspective, it looks like we're servicing people in the B2B world, okay? It looks like, okay, we're working with business owners. We're working with business savvy people. Really what this is, though, is this is a B2C transaction. Now, why does that matter? Because you're masquerading as a business owner, but you're really a consumer. I'm sorry. You don't have the chops, the wherewithal, the intestinal fortitude, and the experience to call yourself an entrepreneur. Maybe 5 to 10% of the people actually do. The vast majority of you guys, you ultimately fall into this category here. Now, consumers typically have a giant wad of limiting beliefs. This is why most consumers go to a car dealership to buy a car, and car salesmen know I have to hard close this person. Because if they leave this place, they're going to talk themselves out of it. It's the same thing why real estate agents working with first-time home buyers understand that's one of the hardest sales to make because these consumers are ruled by their emotions. They're incredibly fickle. Now, the reason that you're looking to get into land is because you probably don't yet have the results that you want in your life, okay? That's why there's this concept of land could change my life. I want to join Leah. I want to build a six-figure land business. I want to set my family up. You want to do that because you probably don't have that now. And most people in this category, I'm making wild generalizations, but I have to do it here. Most people in this category probably don't have the results, not because they haven't found an opportunity yet. That could be part of it, but more than likely they've gotten in their own way because their whole entire belief system is completely backwards. And so when someone comes to join a program like Leah, we need to give them what they need by selling them what they want. And what they need is a mindset overhaul. They need to do something that they've never done before to get results that they've never had. And usually that looks like stepping into what would the business owner do? Well, the business owner would step into investing in their education to build the business. They would find the best in class, the people doing what they want to do, and they would invest in that. And they would understand that the nagging little voice in their head is the same voice that's kept them stuck forever. And this is why on these calls when people join, we focus so much on the mindset and less about just the strategy, because it's the mindset that's going to get someone in the door. And that's exactly why we've had to create our six-figure guarantee inside of Leah. It's a crazy guarantee. It says, hey, if you follow our education and follow our rules and you don't hit six figures in gross pipeline profit in 12 months, we'll work with you for free until you get there, right? If it takes you 2 years and you've hit all the qualifications, we'll work with you. If it takes 2 years, we'll work with you for 2 years at no additional cost to get you there. We've had to put all of these guardrails to make it so it's like, look, at your little mindset can't get in the way. The irony is, it still gets in the way. And so they're operating from a faulty place. Now, one of the things I recommend people to look into is someone like Tony Robbins is a great place to start. You really, if you want to have results that you haven't gotten before, you need to lay the foundation of the mindset, right? Because if your mindset's off, I could hit you upside the head with the greatest opportunity ever, which frankly, I think Leah is as close to the greatest opportunity that you'll ever find in any kind of e-learning biz op offer, even beyond land. Find me any offer that has the results that we have, with the guarantee that we have, with the level of support that we have. I have never seen it, at least not with the price tag that we have it at. Maybe if you paid $50K for a mastermind, you get similar levels of service, but we're not charging $50,000 because our main demographic is these consumers. Now let's talk about the three categories that people end up in. So I've tracked this, the 400 folks, okay? Now, to my knowledge, we've actually never had one of these people come back around. I could be wrong. But I've yet to see one person out of this cohort come back around. Isn't that crazy? Because what happens is, and I've seen this play out ad nauseum, there's three categories. Let me go through these, okay? The first category, which is the most common, is because what we do, let me back up. What we do is when we talk to these people, we figure out, what are your goals? Okay, you want to build a six-figure land business. You want to make 100K in the next 12 months. Great. And that's a very simple, basic goal. It's usually much deeper than that. I want to retire my wife. I want to buy a new house. I want to leave California. I want a homestead. I want to make this much money. We get pretty detailed with people, okay? And so they say, you know what, Sumner, I'm going to go get a deal and I'll circle back with you. Now, the first category here is homeostasis. And I won't dare try to write this with this little drawing tool, but they've made no progress. So I'm just going to say no. Okay. We circle back with them a month from now, 3 months from now, 6 months from now, 12 months from now. They just haven't done anything. Nah, been busy, man. Got caught up. They've just kicked the can down the road. Yet they'll still say the same thing. I'm going to wait till I get a deal. What you're saying is I just don't believe in myself. I don't believe in myself enough to even take action to join Leah, let alone not take action at all, even outside of Leah, to move the needle forward to get your deal. Like, when you really are objective about this stuff, you recognize that most people in this category here, you are your own worst enemy. You are why you don't have the results that you want. It's you. It's 100% you. When left up to your own devices, no is going to take over. Entropy is going to take over. Homeostasis is going to take over. You're not going to change. This is probably what makes up, 60, 75% of the people. Just no progress at all. Yet still unwilling to push, still unwilling to say, I recognize I can't help myself. Still living in this delusion that somehow you're going to get served up with the deal that you want, and then you're going to take action. Now, the second group I respect a bit more. And this, I'm just going to go like this. This is the danger zone, okay? Now, this is sad because it's dangerous, but I can respect this demographic a bit more because at least they've done something. So they pursued this, I'm going to go get a deal. And not only did they not get a deal, they got severely injured. We've gotten on calls with folks that have lost $100,000 in their marketing with nothing to show for it. Folks that have invested six figures in deals that haven't sold in 6 months. People that have lost $10,000 in marketing, $20,000 in marketing. People that have bought a deal that they've lost money on. Very dangerous place to be. But I can appreciate them because at least they're taking action. At least they're not caught in this homeostasis. I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to educate and I'm not going to take action. And these people, in my opinion, and I'm going to be honest here, are the most deluded. You're living in an absolute fantasy. These people have a little more of an objective touch on reality, but they had to learn the hard way. And what I always talk about inside of Leah is that we learn things through feedback loops, okay? It's a big loop here, okay? And this is how we learn. Now, the market can be your teacher, and this is the path that they're taking. They're taking the market is going to be my teacher. Now, the market is a nasty, cruel, mean teacher that's going to teach you lessons in a very slow fashion, and it wants to hurt you. Okay. Because when you learn from the market, you're competing against guys like me, guys like Rylan, guys like Michael, guys like Preston, gals like Kay. You're competing against people that have taken the path of saying, let me copy and place a playbook that has been proven to work and let me have support to implement it. So you're competing against folks that are well equipped. You're going into war with a shovel when someone has an AK-47. It's not a fair fight, but you've determined it to be fair. And so what happens here is you send out some mail. You don't know if you did it right, but you send out some mail. Let's say you spend $5,000, you send out 10,000 letters. Well, the market won't teach your lesson for 3 to 6 months. So you got to wait that period where you're not making progress and you're waiting. Now, it might come back that you priced everything wrong and you worked in a place where your pricing was off and you get no deals. Or you overpriced everything and now you've got insurmountable amount of work to go and whittle down that list. And you don't know how to negotiate, don't know how to underwrite, so you're just kind of floundering with a ton of work that may or may not move the needle forward. Or somehow you did the pricing right, all that stuff, but you worked in a market to where the deal takes 12 months to sell. And now the money that could have gone to marketing or education is sitting in that deal and you have to wait 12 months to go and liquidate it. That last point here leads to the third category, and this is an interesting one. I was talking to a gentleman recently that went through the 90-day Zero to Hero program, which is our beginner program. It's a $500 program. It's a good start. It's a great way to go learn how to go get a deal, right? But what's funny is this gentleman said, hey, I went through the program. I made $40,000. I parlayed that into marketing and I haven't gotten anything. And I don't know what the heck is wrong, but I'm unwilling to invest my proceeds into education. See, the smart people take something like the 90 Day Zero to Hero, they go get a deal and they parlay that money to take it to the next level. Because a 90-day program is not going to teach you the fundamentals of land investing at the highest level. It's not going to teach you all the ins and outs of this business. It's just impossible to do so. And there's no program that's $500 that's going to teach you that much because the value that you're going to get from it is over the life cycle worth millions or tens of millions or at the very least hundreds of thousands of dollars. That just doesn't exist out there, right? As you get into the higher reaches of the atmosphere to get clean oxygen, it becomes a whole lot more expensive. You could say the same thing for education. And so what happens is they have a little bit of success and kind of plateaus. They don't do anything with the money other than try to parlay it back in. Doesn't work. Don't know why it's not working. Maybe they get a deal, kind of works again. And then it's just like this slow peter out. Most of these people, once they get here, they just say, I'm throwing in the towel. I'm done. Right? And so let's say you've got that $40,000. So you could have taken this $40,000. You could have taken $10,000, put that into education and gone on the Leah side, had $30,000 to parlay into running your land business. You typically need no more than $10,000 to $25,000 to run your land business inside of Leah and built a 6-figure business in 12 months, 7-figure in 2, 3, 4 years. But instead you parlay that money and you end up getting zero and you throw in the towel. You see these areas here, this is immense limiting beliefs. These two areas are immense hubris, right? There's so much hubris here that you think that I can crack the code. I understand how to do this. This is a cakewalk. There's nothing to it. People that join Leah must be a dummy, or people that join other programs must be a dummy. I'm smarter than them. It's an immense level of hubris. And here you get taught that lesson immediately, or here you get taught that lesson painfully in a very slow fashion. So you got limiting beliefs and you got hubris. Ultimately, these are all mindset issues though. And this is the difference between the haves and the have-nots, right? More and more, this gap is getting extended in this day and age. And I see this outside of land. The haves and have-nots is a mindset problem. Now, yes, there are systemic inequalities. I'm not talking about that, and those need to be fixed. But I'm talking about when it is a level playing field, in life, you're still going to see radically different results. And a lot of that just comes down to the difference in thinking, right? call it a level playing field, which in this case, it certainly is, right? This is a level playing field. We don't gatekeep this information. Anyone that's getting on a call with Leah, for the most part, can figure out in the next 12 months how to save $10,000 for education. In fact, the vast majority of people that fall in this category have the money today. It's this faulty notion of I'm going to take the money and I'm going to try to get this business to prove itself to me, and then I'm going to go and parlay that money. But you have to think that as a skill bar gets raised in this business, the guys and gals that are in the category of have, they are getting more and more dangerous, more and more well equipped, to where the low hanging fruit is getting completely sucked out of this business. So again, that example of coming in with a shovel versus someone with a sniper is really the case. That's just happening to a greater and a greater degree. And there's really no more room for this anymore. And you see this in any mature industry. Like, this is why specialization, like trade schools and college, that's why it makes sense. Nowadays, no one is going to call a plumber that hasn't gone to trade school, because there's enough plumbers that have gone to trade school that will do the job for you. Same thing for sellers. There's enough people that want to buy their land that know how to talk the talk and walk the walk, to when you come on there fumbling and bumbling and you created the wrong offer, your letter copy sucks, you don't know how to talk to them, you don't know how to negotiate, you don't know how to acquire their land, you don't know how to fund their land. Why would they ever work with you? They're not. They talk to someone like me. Who are they going to pick? They're going to pick me every single day of the week. And so that's the path of this business. And this is the maturing of any industry. But the crazy thing is, for the folks that are willing to invest in themselves, there's still so much upside, because look at 40% of the people fell into this category here. So many folks have not fixed their mindset, and their thinking is so broken that there's just so much upside. There's still so much pie left for the folks that are willing to think different and do what they haven't done before to get results that they haven't gotten before. Now, why does this hit home for me? This hits home for me in such a big way because I was this person. I delayed investing in my education for 2 years and I spun my wheels. Now, I was lucky to join the land business in 2019 to where I could still exercise some dumb luck here and there. I could still pick up some low-hanging fruit because the business looked a lot different back then. But I still lost money on deals, wasted money on deals, broke even on deals, lost money on marketing, spun my wheels for so long because I had an immense level of hubris. And it's just a crazy phenomenon that I'm seeing play out more and more and more. And this is why something like the 6-figure guarantee inside of Leah should mitigate this risk entirely, yet the thinking is so deeply entrenched that even this doesn't get in the way of it. Now, if you're in this cohort of 200 and you don't see the value of Leah, that's fine. Like, we're not everyone's cup of tea, and I can't expect us to be that. But either people are lying to us and lying to themselves, or they really believe this and their thinking is just completely broken. So I hope from the bottom of my heart, and I'm using Leah as an example because I have the data. I'm sure this is applicable to everywhere else. This needs to change. For like the greater good of humanity, for real. Your limiting beliefs are what are getting in the way of your success. It truly is. And a limiting belief partially is hubris too. Like, that is a limitation that you put upon yourself that is only hurting your results, not helping your results. And as I've sat in this seat of coaching, I just see this play out over and over and over again. Now, the problem is these limiting beliefs even do extend into Leah as well once people join. These folks here have a high level of grit and intestinal fortitude, and they understand that challenges will come their way, and they also understand that they are equipped with the mental tactics and discipline, or whatever you want to call it, to withstand anything that gets thrown their way. The greatest skill that I've developed in building so many businesses is that I know I can persevere any storm. In fact, I know I could start over, and if I can keep this, the mental jewels that I have are so potent and so powerful and so rare among the average person that I can truly do anything. That's what you feel like. Whether that's completely true or not, I don't know. But a big thing within that mindset is knowing wherever I go, if I had to start over, my first thought process is who, not how. Who has the answers that I need to get done what I need to get done? And then I know I've got the internal grit to execute on it and weather any of the storms that come my way. It's that combination of who, not how, plus intestinal fortitude that unlocks getting literally anything you want in life. It's that simple. What do these people have that you don't have? They have the right information and they have the intestinal fortitude. That's true for literally anything in life. That's the cheat code. And even me telling you this in this video, there's still going to be people that watch it that don't believe that they can do it, or worse, somehow believe that they're special. You're not as special as you think. If you were special, you'd already have the results. I'm sorry, it's just true. If you don't have the results yet, you probably need to think about the who, not how. And if you're watching this and you think, Sumner, I just don't feel like I could do any of this, that's also not true. You are way more capable than you think, but who, not how is a big part of the equation. Hope this video helps you. This is the greatest land investing paradox that I pray in 2025 and beyond we can start to mature out of. Cheers.